objective is to kick behind. It's to get on these other people's heads like some headphones. That's what it's all about. And I'm going to be here to support. That's what I do like. I love stuff like that. I truly do. I love the fact that they will go out there and support. I seen that 4 years ago when you had, what was that, LeBron James, and they was out there, and that was the year where Michael Phelps almost was getting ready to lose a little relay, and it was that Jason Lezak stuck his hand out and hit the wall, and then they won, and oh man, that was awesome. You seen LeBron James there, and he was supporting. That's what it's all about. It's about that camaraderie. That's what it's all about. You're listening to me here, the Grizz on SME. Now, boxing. Boxing is an Olympic sport. You know, boxing, as far as the Olympics, have had some great fighters. You know, you have people like Muhammad Ali, who won gold. You have people like Joe Frazier, who won gold. You have people like George Foreman, who won gold. You have people like Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker, who won gold. You have people like Oscar De La Hoya, who won gold. Floyd Mayweather Jr. won bronze, even though he was cheated. Roy Jones Jr. won silver, even though he was cheated. The same thing like Evander Holyfield, he was cheated. That's when boxing, and oh, hold on, I can't forget about this individual, Sugar Ray Leonard, who really made it popular so that fighters who were under the heavyweight division, he really made it popular for the little guy to fight in the Olympics. So I can't forget about Sugar Ray Leonard. But the United States men's national team in boxing is awful. Oh, they're so awful. Do you know that we didn't have a super heavyweight, a heavyweight, or a light heavyweight even compete in this Olympics? And then I didn't watch the fight, but you know, I always try to keep up on my boxing because, you know, that's my favorite sport. And when I tell you that, what was that, a middleweight, he just lost to an individual from India. Listen to what I'm saying, people. A fighter from the United States of America lost to a fighter from India. That's pretty much like the United States losing to Venezuela, who they blew out. That's what that's like. Like, that's Olympic boxing. It is awful. The fighters are awful. I go up here to The Rock. Now, The Rock is in Carson, California, and you have a lot of professionals who come in there and they, you know, spar and they try to get better. The key word is try. And when I tell you what I see trash. Straight up trash. I don't see any skills. Like, to watch those guys, I know people like Joe Louis, Sugar Ray Robinson, Jack Johnson, Muhammad Ali, and I call those four guys the Mount Rushmore of boxing. Those guys are turning over in their grave to see that boxing abomination. Straight up abomination. And these are the individuals who are going to these Olympics and not medaling. Do you know in 2012, we did not have not one male who even medaled. That's like when the United States, when they didn't medal, I think that was the year that Larry Brown was the coach. And I think they won like a bronze or something like that. That's what that's like. To not have one. We didn't have not one fighter medal. Not one. That's awful. We're talking about the United States have had some of the greatest fighters that you will ever see. When I talk about boxing, boxing is the only sport that can rival boxing when it comes to star power is baseball, because those two sports have been around since like the abolishment of slavery was like what, 1865. That's when boxing and baseball really start to hit here in the United States of America. That's how old the sport is. So it is steep in history and tradition. So to sit there and look at what I'm seeing on TV, come on now, man. Like, we didn't even have nobody even qualifying the heavyweight and light heavyweight divisions. In the heavyweight division, like, what's really going on? I mean, the super heavyweight division, it's awful. Like, seriously, you don't understand it. I go to these boxing gyms and I look at this trash. Now, I'm not sitting up here saying that I'm the greatest, but like I told you before, my trainer was trained by Bill Slate, who was a trainer of Muhammad Ali. Well, the trainer his fighter was Ken Norton, who was the fighter who beat and broke Muhammad Ali's jaw. He was the guy that trained him. So that's where I'm from. That's where I come from. And to see this trash, to see a guy not really know how to throw a jab. Like, when you throw a jab, you're supposed to take a step, boom, then throw your jab. You're supposed to always lead with your feet. That's why feet work is so important. That's why Kobe Bryant dominated. That's why when you see a cornerback, you always watch his feet. His feet is going to dictate where his hands is going to be. If you get out of position with your feet, I don't care what your hands is at. Your hands can be in the perfect position, but guess what? You're going to get a holding foul because your feet is not right. Your feet is the most important part. These guys, they don't have that, and it's awful. It really is, and I don't think that they're going to medal. They're talking about, it was supposed to be a kid named Shakur. I mean, I can't think of I don't know if that's his first or last name. I just know his name is Shakur. He's a 140-pounder. They're saying that he is our best chance of medaling. Somebody please pray for this individual, because I hope he does something. Now, speaking of boxing, Manny Pacquiao has came out of retirement. The word is that it's not a word. He is getting ready to fight Jesse Vargas. Good for him. Seriously, good for him, because he knew that if he would have came out and fought somebody like Terrence Crawford, he was going to get his behind whooped. He knew that. That's my time for today, and I'm out.